Good morning, and I'm Chief Edward Dunn here at our police memorial. This is National Police Week, and normally on May 15th we have a ceremony to honor officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in this career. But today, with the COVID-19 pandemic, we are unable to have that ceremony. So normally on May 15th, we honor the fallen heroes with a gathering of family, friends, dignitaries, and community members, as well as police officers. I regret that we are unable to hold this solemn ceremony today due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that these heroes are not forgotten, I am here alone at the police memorial with a virtual tribute to these men and women. The purpose of this week is to honor police officers everywhere and remember those heroes who have lost their lives in the line of duty. It is sometimes forgotten that police officers' jobs are challenging, rough, and too often unrewarded. Along with the pressures to serve, police officers are in continuous contact with criminals, disturbed individuals, in constant threat of danger, and the routine observation of serious injury and death. This year, police officers are dealing with a new challenge and threat, the COVID-19 crisis. Policing as we know it has changed. The way we handle calls for service are different in order to keep the community safe as well as our police officers. But we are still here for the community. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy declared May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day. In the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week, the annual tribute to law enforcement officers who served and have sacrificed. This year, the 39th annual National Peace Officers Memorial Week in Washington, D.C. was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This event normally draws between 24 and 40,000 police officers from around the world to come and honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. I am proud to tell you that the men and women of the Falmouth Police Department have excelled in this difficult position and with new challenges of working through this pandemic. These brave men and women have more than ever made a positive contribution to the Falmouth community. These officers deserve to be recognized for the steadfast commitment to making Falmouth safe and both a better place to live. As the Chief of Police, I have the privilege and honor to serve with the finest police professionals I have ever known. To the men and women in blue, thank you for what you do each and every day. And to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, we will never forget. During the ceremony, I always want to bring the reality to why this week is so important by giving you some statistics. In 2019, 146 deaths occurred in the line of duty. 48 of them were by gunfire, 22 by automobile crashes, 76 by others. And by others, they talk about heart attacks, could have been knives or anything like that, but other means. And 28 canines died in the line of duty in 2019. We're only in a few months into 2020, and so far in 2020, there's been 73 deaths in the line of duty. 18 by gunfire, 11 by automobile crashes, and 17 by COVID-19. One right here in Massachusetts, Boston police officer Jose Fontanez, whose end of watch happened on April 14th, 2020. 27 others and 2 canines so far in 2020. These numbers bring the all-time total to 24,203 heroes made the ultimate sacrifice with their lives protecting communities across the United States. Thankfully, we are blessed here in Falmouth to only have one police officer killed in the line of duty. And that police officer was Officer Samuel F. Pierce, who died Wednesday, August 16th, 1933. Officer Pierce was on patrol when his motorcycle was struck by a vehicle as he was responding to a call. He was just 37 years old, and Officer Pierce died at the scene from a fractured skull. The driver of the vehicle that struck him was charged with leaving the scene of a crash and operating to endanger. We all here at the Falmouth Police Department wish Officer Pierce and all the other men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice to rest in peace. Thank you. Normally, we would have, like I said, we would have dignitaries from the Board of Selectmen and other politicians, but this year we cannot. So I'm going to read the proclamation from the Board of Selectmen. Proclamation for Police Week. Whereas the Congress and the President of the United States has designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, in the week in which it falls as Police Week. And whereas the members of law enforcement agency of the town of Falmouth play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of the town of Falmouth. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and that members of the police department recognize their duties to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocents against deception and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas the police department of the town of Falmouth has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency which provides a vital public service. Therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen, call upon all citizens of the town of Falmouth and upon civil and educational organizations to observe the week of May 10th through the 16th, 2020 as Police Week, with the appropriate ceremonies in which all people may join in commemorating police officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered and dedicated service to their community, and in doing so have established themselves an enduring reputation of preserving the rights and security of all citizens. Further, we call upon all citizens of the town of Falmouth to observe Friday, May 15th, 2020 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, in honor of those peace officers who, through their courageous deeds, have lost their lives or have become disabled in the performance of their duties. Especially our own Samuel F. Pierce, who lost his life in the line of duty on August 16, 1933. I further call upon all citizens of the town of Falmouth to observe a moment of silence on Friday, May 15, 2020, in their honor. Herein whereof we, Megan English Bragger, Douglas C. Brown, Douglas H. Joyne, Susan L. Moran, and Samuel F. Patterson, hereunto sets our hand and cause the great seal of the town of Falmouth to be affixed on the 27th day of April 2020. I thank the Board of Selectmen for doing that proclamation. And I'd like to sort of end the ceremony itself today by reading a poem. And it's titled, Part of America Died. Someone killed a policeman today, and part of America died. A piece of our country he swore to protect will be buried with him at his side. The suspect that shot him will stand up in court with his counsel demanding his rights, while a young widowed mother must work for her kids and spend long, lonely nights. The beat that he walked was a battlefield too, just as if he had gone off to war. Though flags of our nation won't fly at half-mast, to his name they will add a gold star. Yes, somebody killed a policeman today, in your town and mine. While we slept in the comforts behind locked doors, a cop put his life on the line. Now his ghost walks the beat in the dark city streets, and he stands at each new rookie's side. He answers the call of himself he gave all. Part of America died. That's going to conclude the ceremony to honor those who have passed this year and in the past, such as our own Samuel Pierce. Last year we were fortunate to have a ceremony here with families and friends to dedicate this new memorial that we have. That was a lot of effort between the police department, the DPW, and the Parks Department. And last year, if you remember, or you attended, or you saw it, we had what was called In Memoriam Stones. And there are 4 stones that we had placed around the memorial here. Many police departments have what are known as in memoriam plaques, and they usually hang on the interior walls of police departments. And that is to remember retired police officers who had died of natural causes, but had served the community with pride. And it was just a way to remember them through the history. Sadly, we didn't have anything like that here at the Falmouth Police Department. So when this new memorial was being, the concept of it was being developed, members of the police department thought it would be a good idea if we put in memoriam stones out here with the names of those officers who served the police department but died of natural causes. And we thought it would be appropriate to have these stones in front of the police department so that family members in the community would be able to see these names of the retired officers that have now passed because of natural causes. Members of the Falmouth Police Department believe this is the best way to honor those who have served the community with honor, commitment, dedication, and integrity. And I am honored and proud to announce today we have been able to add names of these retired officers to our Memoriam Stones. The first stone that we have is titled Honor, and on that we have Chief Chester Lawrence, who served from 1921 to 1946, Patrolman Clement Leno from 1933 to 1963, Sergeant Oscar Peterson from 1934 through 1955, Chief Herbert Lawrence, 1893 to 1933, and Patrolman Carlton Wright, 1931 to 1948, and Sergeant Clayton Collins, 1933 to 1960. Then on our second stone, which is titled Integrity, we have Chief John Ferreira from 1951 to 1980, Sergeant Arthur Lawrence from 1953 to 1974, Sergeant Kenneth Smith from 1956 to 1986, Chief Harold Baker, 1934 to 1962, Patrolman Bernard Lawrence, 1957 to 1988, and Patrolman Thomas DaCosta, 1964 to 1986. Then the stone, which is titled Dedication, Chief Leonard Martin from 1951 to 1983, Sergeant Stuart Harlow, 1933 to 1958, Patrolman Samuel Pierce, 1932 to 1933, Chief Paulino Rodriguez, 1954 to 1993, Patrolman Arthur Montero, 1957 to 1985, and Detective Reginald Campbell, 1953 to 1964. And then our last stone, which is titled Commitment, Captain Paul Poulis, 1965 to 1996, Sergeant Percy Kennedy, 1997 to 2012, Patrolman Frank Evans, 1925 to 1942, Detective Joseph Coster, 1946 to 1962, Detective Paul Gonzalez, 1965 to 1999, Patrolman Richard Brigel, 1968 to 1999, Patrolman Lester Baker, 1934 to 1948, and Patrolman Theodore Williams, 1984 to 2011. This has been no easy task to gather the names and dates of service. I would like to thank Officer James Rogers of the Falmouth Police Department and the staff of the Falmouth Library, who spent countless hours researching the town's archives to come up with this information, as well as Bill Huff, editor of the Falmouth Enterprise, who just this week provided us with some more information. However, we still need the community's help. We have several names, which I'll read shortly, that we need to determine the years of service so we'll be able to add their names to the stones. And those officers' names are Benjamin Berry, Gardner Bloom, Reginald Bowman, James Bonnet, Veezy Brackett, Reginald Campbell, Joseph Costa, Ralph Erskine, George Fonseca, Stuart Harlow, James Hazelton Sr., James Leno, Harold Marks, William McInnes, Antone Magato, Robert Raposa, Laban Robbins, Arthur Robichaud, Michael Remiza, David Scannell, William Smith, Elmer White, and Lester Young. These are men who have served this community with pride, and we really would like to get their names on the stones with their years of service. So, as I said, we are asking the community, family, friends, if you have information, to please contact my office, the Chief's office, at the Falmouth Police Department, which is 774-255-4527, with that information. I hope and invite family members of these fine officers will be able to stop by the police department's memorial here and check out the In Memoriam Stones, so that these men and women reputations can live on in the community. Thank you.